Today's guest is Jamie Faulkner, and she's the CEO of the E15 Group. Essentially, Jamie heads a team of data scientists, analysts, software developers and engineers, setting a new standard for using actionable intelligence to improve every facet of their partners' operations. And believe me, they've got some pretty big ones. And one that she didn't mention in today's episode, but we talked about off air, so I feel I can mention it without giving you too many spoilers, was at Tottenham Hotspur. Or as my hardcore fans, the Reverend Jimmy Jackson and Sam Latimer might say as they go down the Seven Sisters, the Spurs. But I digress. Like I said a few moments ago, they are setting a new standard for using actionable intelligence to improve every facet of partners' operations, from optimal distribution of hot dogs in their arenas and stadiums to predicting daily attendance. Now, as you all know, I love exploring areas that you don't necessarily associate with technology and see how they're being transformed by invisible tech. So I invite you to grab a virtual hot dog as I beam your ears all the way to Chicago so we can speak with Jamie Faulkner and learn more about the E15 Group. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yep. So, Jamie Faulkner, I am the CEO of the E15 Group. I'm sure you're going to ask me down the road what E15 means and how we got our name, because that's a standard question we get from every sports team we work with. So, I can answer that question a little bit later. So, the E15 Group is an advanced analytic, strategic, and emerging tech group that spends a lot of its time helping our clients in the sports and entertainment industry, as well as our parent company, Levy Restaurants, drive every decision analytics and then bring the best digital technology to play for our fans.
So E15 is a next generation analytics and emerging technology company that actually brings unmatched industry intelligence and cutting edge analytics all to your partners. But for anyone listening that's hearing about you guys for the very first time, can you tell me a little bit about you guys and also how you got that name? Don't want to be predictable, but I've got to go there, haven't I now?
Well, first of all, the lesson we learned is never let the data nerds name the company. That should always be left to the creatives. You know, we, for years, and prior to coming to run E15, I was a career consultant at KPMG and spent most of my career there talking to clients as sort of the big data phase became real in other industries, you know, why they should care about data. And I used to tell them all the time that, data now is the fuel for your business. It's not the exhaust or the byproduct of your business. It's being created by all these systems you're starting to put into place. And so we talk about that a lot within, as we were developing the E15 Group, and when we were talking to our sports teams and partners, ultimately the challenge that these organizations have is they've got a lot of data, but how do they unlock the value of the data? And so as we were starting to name ourselves, and because I talk about it being the fuel all the time, data is the fuel for your business, the 15th element is phosphorus on the periodic table. It's 15 is the symbol. And phosphorus is what is required besides oxygen to create fire. So for us, we like to say we're the spark that ignites the fire or will ignite the value out of the data.
Wow, well, that's incredibly cool, though, isn't it?
And when it takes you more than 3 or 4 sentences to describe how you got your name, you shouldn't have let the data folks.
So we have talked about the partnerships there as well. I mean, can you tell the listeners a little bit about some of those big partners that you've got and how you're helping them to actually solve real problems?
Yeah, we're so incredibly lucky. We get to work with some of the best sports franchises in the industry. Some of those partners and some of the work that we've done that's been very innovative. We've been really lucky to get to partner with Mercedes-Benz Stadium and the Atlanta Falcons. You know, one of the challenges that we hear from every fan is around pricing of food and beverage. And when the Falcons were designing their new stadium and really creating an incredible fan experience, they challenged us, Levy, as the food and beverage partner, to really look at what we could do on the pricing side. And they really wanted to put into place what we call street pricing. And so our pricing team, which sits under our artificial intelligence team in E15, worked very collaboratively with Falcons leadership to determine what does that even mean? What products should we street price? What should those prices be? To do that, we need to be able to predict before a building even opens, okay, if a hot dog that used to cost you $6 now costs you $3, what's the demand for that going to be? So how do I design a stadium that can accommodate the amount of inventory we're going to need to have in stands to meet the demand.